Welcome back and Happy New Year. Today I'll be showing you how to make a delicious alkaline vegan burdock root stir fry. Let's get started. This is a burdock root and it's also known as Gobo in Japan. It packs a potent mix of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties among other things. A lot of people are unaware that most of these properties are concentrated in the skin. When it comes to cleaning a burdock root, I prefer to use a brush to brush off dirt and debris under running water. It's way more effective than peeling it. Since it's so long, I like to cut it into 2 shorter pieces before washing it. When it comes to cleaning a burdock root, I use 2 methods. The first method is to lightly brush it with a vegetable brush under some running cold water. This method removes a thin layer of the skin, but it mostly remains intact. The second method involves no brush or rough scrubbing whatsoever. All I do is run it under some cold water while rubbing off dirt and debris using my fingers. Wipe them down with some kitchen towels and you have these. As you can see, there's a difference between the 2 roots. One is more pale than the other. Generally, I tend not to go rough on the skin. This keeps the skin intact and the nutrients potent. If you'd rather get rid of the skin, rather than peel it off, you can use the edge of your knife to scrape it off like this. As you can see, lightly scraping it off with the edge of your knife won't take off much of the skin. Now let me show you how to cut it. All you have to do is place it on a cutting board and cut at an angle. Doing this will give you more surface area for the next step. One thing I would like to mention is if a burdock root gets cut and exposed to the atmosphere, it oxidizes really quickly. As you can see, oxidation quickly changes its color. If you want to stop this from happening, quickly add it to a bowl of water. Let's cut the second piece and I'll show you different angles so you can see what I'm doing clearly. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, please hit the like button and follow me on Instagram. As for me, I don't really care about it changing color. Let's move on to the next step. Place a stack of sliced burdock root on your cutting board. Now we're going to do our best to cut them into julienne strips. Now these aren't the ideal julienne strips, but you want to get them to look something like this. In case you haven't noticed, I'm not the best at cutting julienne strips because I never went to culinary school, but I am cooking this for myself, so who cares, right? You don't have to stack them up before slicing them into julienne strips. And also, to hasten the process, you can use any kitchen appliance of your choosing. Once you're done cutting them into julienne strips, you can set them aside. If you like, you can put them back into the water to stop them from changing color. But as I mentioned earlier, I don't really care about the color change. The next major ingredient is a butternut squash, and I have a comprehensive video on how to break this down. Cut and peel your butternut squash. Once you get to this point, don't forget to remove the seeds. Next, we're going to cut them in half, then cut them into thin slabs. After cutting them into slabs, we're going to do our best to cut them into julienne strips. Not that it's important, but if you want to get accurate strips, you can use a mandolin for this. Outside of a few strips, I think I did a pretty decent job. Anyway, let's cook these and see how they come out. Place a pan on medium-high heat, then add some grapeseed oil. Next, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. Move your pan around to spread the oil, and once hot, you can add your butternut squash strips. You really can go in any order, but next, you can add your burdock root strips. Give it a really good mix. Burdock root is slightly sweet, slightly bitter, and has an astringent, earthy flavor. However, the sweetness from the butternut squash complements the taste. Let's season it. It's nothing new. I'll be using my regular alkaline seasonings. Add some sea salt to taste. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper and a 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme. Next, we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of dried basil and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Give it a good mix, taste, and adjust. Just so you know, burdock root and butternut squash can be eaten raw. Let it cook for 4 to 5 minutes or until slightly soft, then add 1 tablespoon of date syrup. This is my signature move. Give it a final mix, then take it off the stove. You want it slightly crunchy. For my alkaline vegan friends, I like to serve this over 2 types of grains. The first is obviously wild rice. For our soy sauce replacement, we're going to add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos. Next, we're going to complement that with some raw sesame seeds. This looks so beautiful, and I kept it simple. The earthy flavor of the burdock root complements that of the wild rice. I want you to make this and tag me on Instagram. Let's switch it up. Since wild rice is expensive and hard to find, you can also serve this over some plain quinoa. This stir fry can be served over alkaline pasta, chickpeas, kamut berries, spelt berries, and so on. It's healthier to eat it without any grains, but I love my grains, so go figure. I kept this recipe basic, so it should be easy to follow. I'd like to add this recipe to my cookbook, so do me a favor in the comment section by letting me know if you'll be eating this with quinoa, wild rice, or something else. Happy New Year once again. Please don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. See you all next week.